Hi guys, my name is Baxter. I'm an accredited practicing dietitian and online physique coach, and this is week 9 of my 18-week contest preparation. So this week I wanted to firstly apologize. I'm a few days late in getting this out. So I am reviewing last week's trainings. So I'm reviewing last Monday to Monday just past. But I was trying to play catch up from the week before with the hurricanes, and things kind of had to take priority, and my own contest prep was actually sacrificed, I guess, last week. So my last week of training, macros were 160 protein, 140 carbohydrate, and 50 grams of fat. I was doing 5 days of weight training, so I do 2 lower body, 2 upper body, and then 1 full body session, which kind of errs more towards lower body, a lot more glute movements and things like that. And then I'm also doing 3 cardio sessions per week with that. The first thing I wanted to talk about was getting back into routine. So I was away all of last week and flying and driving around, and then I finally got back home. We kind of did a big cleanup from the hurricanes, and I was pretty keen to have a solid week of training and nutrition. And one of the things I found when I first moved to the US was that I couldn't really sink my teeth into any particular gym. They weren't quite like the gyms that I have access to or where I've come from back at home. When I was living in the Gold Coast in Australia, the gym that I was working out of actually had a really great functional HIIT training area where you could go and plug your own iPhone in. They had battle ropes, they had sleds, monkey bars, kettlebells, sandbags, you name it. And it looked out onto this beautiful outlook on the beach with palm trees, and it was really motivating. If I didn't want to do my own session, they ran a lot of 45-minute or 30-minute HIIT classes in that room. And we also had a high altitude training facility, which again, they offered these high intensity classes. So I obviously am well into my preparation for this contest, and HIIT training is something that I prefer to do. I hate long, slow, steady state cardio. If someone tells me I've got to get on a treadmill and walk or something like that, I get a lot of that. So I prefer not to do it. And yeah, for me, moving to Florida, the area that I'm living in doesn't have that kind of gym available. So I've been trying to find over the last week a gym that could accommodate that need. So as you can imagine, trying to get into a routine when you're constantly trying new gyms, go next day, go to a new gym, I felt really out of place. And I guess the same thing can be said if you're traveling a lot. Last week's training for my weights was really, really good. I felt like I was a little bit down in energy just because of the jet lag from flying. So whilst I was turning up and getting the sessions done, I didn't feel like I put in my best effort, but I got through the work. I made sure I stuck to my programs. My HIIT cardio, I only got 2 sessions in just because I was feeling really tired, and one of the days I had to take off. I was a little bit stressed actually over the weekend, and I ended up going over my nutrition protocols slightly, and my weight was back up by a full kilo. When I landed in Florida last week, I was sitting at 67.3 kilos. The week later, I weighed in at 68 point something rather, a low 68. So I was feeling really disheartened on Monday this week because I tried to be consistent with my training. I'd really thought I'd be able to get back into routine with my diet. But these things happen, and you can't control every step of the way. And I think a big learning curve for me is becoming more adaptive. It's and this doesn't just go for my training, it goes for how I operate when I work, and being a little bit more flexible to my circumstances. So my weight actually went up this week, which is frustrating because I am now only 7 weeks, 3 days out from my show, which is on the 11th of November. So that was stressful. With stress on Monday meant that I was having a lot of anxiety, and I stuffed up my nutrition macros again. One of my frequent setbacks, so I'm getting much better at managing it, is overeating. So if I get stressed, or if I'm not really active and running around doing 1,000 things, my go-to is eat. It's like something that takes my mind off the stress at the time, and then before you know it, I've consumed my entire day's macros, and I might not have even got my training session in. So then I think the sensible thing for me to do is go, okay, well, tomorrow's a new day. I need to make sure I recover correctly. So after training, I'll still have something to eat that's protein containing, and perhaps just very low carbohydrate veggies. But I still went over my macros. So I was really stressed on the Monday of my weigh-in. But things have definitely gotten on track up until this point. So because my weight went up, it means that I am off track with my rate of loss. So again, I mentioned this week in, week out. At the beginning, if you go back to week 1, you can see exactly how I've structured this contest prep. My starting volumes for training, my starting volumes for cardio and weights, that is, and what my macro targets are, and then how I trend down. And I kind of capped where I want to be with my macros, so that I'm not jeopardizing my metabolism. So I am behind schedule because I've had a few setbacks during this contest prep with traveling and just stress in general. And I admittedly thought about this the other day. It probably isn't the best time for me to have undertaken a contest prep, but we are here and I'm gonna do it. I hate quitting, so it'll be probably more of a driver for me to make sure I do this and come in as, you know, giving the best that I possibly can. So that being said, I am coming down on my numbers again this week. So my protein will stay the same. It's still at 160, but I'm dropping my carbohydrates to 135 from 140, and I'm dropping my fats from 50 to 47. And it's not a huge difference, but I don't need to make huge leaps and bounds with the numbers in order to see change. And I'm also hoping that with the consistency of the training in this upcoming week, hopefully I'll found a gym that I can do my cardio workouts at, and I'll be fully rested and recovered from any flying. My jet lag will be done. It should actually be enough for me to probably get back to where I need to be on target. So fingers crossed for this week. I'm feeling really confident. I'm feeling good with how I'm looking. My first video check-ins, I look like a very inflated creature. I had no collarbones. I had no shape through my core. I had no abs, that's for sure. And I was carrying a lot of body fat through my arms, but I'm definitely feeling much better about how I'm coming in. And the good thing is I know that it's been a really slow contest preparation, so my metabolism is going to be just fine. Well, certainly faring better than someone that's done a really drastic contest preparation where their macros are ridiculously low from the get-go. This is a much more conservative approach, and certainly more conservative than I have ever done. And I feel fine. Like, my energy is great. My macros are not difficult to adhere to as long as I plan my meals. So yeah, looking forward to this week. Things are looking positive so far, and I look forward to checking in with you guys again next week. And if you guys have any questions, please drop me a line, email me, contact me. Also, do take a look at my online meal plan generator on my website. I've had a number of new programs I've put on with regard to vegan diets and ketogenic diets, so do go and check that out. It's www.hbnutrition.com.au. If you haven't seen any of my coaching programs, I have nutrition coaching for flexible dieting. Some incorporate training programs and nutrition plans. Some are just flexible dieting, but I prompt you through each week what you need to do with regard to macronutrient requirements, and I give cardio recommendations too. So have a look at those. They start from as little as $25 a week, and that is one-on-one coaching. So really affordable, and you're getting obviously science-based education and nutrition knowledge. I am an accredited dietitian, not just somebody going from personal experience and giving you crazy information. So yeah, follow me along on Instagram. It is Holly T. Baxter.